Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe's Classic Video Games back with another cool pinball repair video for you this evening. We have been working on this awesome Williams Whirlwind pinball machine that we've had here in our shop for a while. And we did a video where we kind of brought it back and did the Playfield. And then we did a video last time where we worked through some of the electronics. We figured out that the display's bad, ordered a new one. We worked on solenoids, figured out some issues with that. And then we worked on switches a little bit. And so we are now up to, the next thing to mess with is the lights. Now we already did the flash bulbs. They actually run off the solenoid voltages and stuff. So we got all the flashers working, but we don't have all the lights working yet. So we're going to mess with that in today's video. So this is kind of where we're at. The flippers are missing. We understand that. That's coming up soon. Still got a few issues that we're ironing out. But mainly we got to get all these bulbs working. So I think the first thing we'll tackle is this back box. A whole bunch of them don't work, like all of them. So I think they're just all burnt out. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove them, clean up that panel behind it, and put all new bulbs in it. And we'll see if there's any electronic reason that half those bulbs don't work, or if it's just literally they're burnt out. I also want to see if those flash bulbs are supposed to be in there like that. So I'm going to look that up. Okay, so I looked in the manual, and just by the way it's wired too, and there's no reason for those flash bulbs to be in there. Somebody just did it because they liked the way it looked, which is fine. So I took them all out. I was able to clean off that board. Looks pretty good. And replaced all the bulbs. All the sockets are working. There is a GI relay that can dim that and make it, you know, blink on and off and everything. But all of those are basically just general illumination lights. They're just there to light up the back glass. So that turned out pretty good. Now we're going to do these ones underneath the display next. And they're easy to do. There's just a little twist-in bulbs that go in the back. We're going to have to work on that here shortly because we need to make sure all of the sound is working. It's turned down really low, so I don't know if the amp's messed up or some speakers are blown or what, but we'll figure that all out. And then, of course, we're putting in a new display whenever we get it in the mail. But for now, we'll do the bulbs that are underneath it. You can see that it's just a pretty traditional setup with a PCB with little twist sockets in it. If you're not a pinball person and you haven't seen many of these, it's just like on like a car instrument panel. Your dash lights. All of these run off of 6 volts though. It's a little different. Whenever I see where like those 4 are working fine, which is that side, but none of those are, it almost makes you think there's something else going on. So I don't know. Here eventually we'll have to put it in light bulb test mode just to make sure everything's pulsing like it should. Maybe those never come on. I don't know. Seems kind of strange that the 3 right next to each other are the only ones that don't work. What's that all about? So that got all them working. It was just those 3 were burnt out. Now I replaced all of them though. Whenever we go through them, we just put all new bulbs in it, even if the old ones are working, because they, you know, these original style incandescent bulbs, they actually have a wear, you know, so eventually they're going to wear out. So we swapped new ones in, and now it's time to do the Playfield. Now we've done all the ones on top of the Playfield that are underneath the plastics. I believe all of those are working. We'll have to look more specifically to make sure every single one of them's lighting up. I think they are. And again, we already did all of the flashers. They work. So, but we've got a ton under the Playfield that aren't working. So many that it may not be all just bulbs. That maybe there's a problem with the board or something. Let's try these 2 though. I haven't seen either one of those light up yet. That's much better. Now, there's this board here too. I think there's probably light bulbs behind that. I know there's flashers back there that are working, but I'm going to take that off because I'll bet there's general illumination too. It looks kind of dark. And I'll bet they've never even been messed with by the operator. You might be able to get to it by setting the Playfield up at an angle and then reaching behind it, but I think I'm just going to take it off so we can clean it and look at it a little bit. Sure enough, there are flash bulbs and then regular bulbs too. So I'm going to clean it up, replace the regular bulbs and replace the flash bulbs because we never replaced those whenever we fixed the flashers before. They just all worked, so we left it how it was. Alright, so we clean that up, replace the bulbs. Now it's got some light behind it. That looks a lot better. Really kind of brightens up that part of the playfield too, which it really needed. Okay, so I think that's everything on the top. We might find some more later. This is one of those things where the newer machines like this is newer to me. It's newer than the stuff we used to work on. They're so complex that you don't even find all the stuff at first glance. So we got to replace everything under the playfield, and a lot of that stuff is right on top of each other. So that's not really something you can do with the power on a lot of times, but we'll mess with it. So let me stand it up, and then we'll get a good look at all of the light bulbs under it. So you can see the bulbs. There's just tons of them, and you can see where the flippers are missing. So some of them are easy to get to like that, and then some of them are all on top of each other, and if you do that with the power on, you might end up with some problems. So they're all 47 bulbs or 555 bulbs. They're all running off 6 volts, 5 volts, 6 volts. Some of them are just these little single boards that just have one little twist socket in it, and some of them are little lamp boards with several of them on it. So I'm just going to start working through and cleaning as I go and replacing as I go, and we'll see if we run into any issues or if they just all need to be swapped. Lots of old dirty bulbs. Some of them are still working, some of them weren't, but I think I've got every one of them. We'll tell on the top a lot easier, but that's more of a light show now. So as I went, I was cleaning things, including just the wood on the bottom of the playfield, and I did find the only thing that I found that was that looked like it needed attention is this switch. See this slingshot switch right here? That one's good, but this one the rivets have broken off of. So it's just hanging in there. That's pretty common. The rivets will break off of the little support that holds it up. So we got to fix that. I wrote it down, and we're also still looking at this diverter. If you didn't see the previous video, I'm not sure this is working properly. I think it pulls in, but it doesn't spring back. I don't know what's supposed to make it spring back. It almost looks like there's a spring missing, but if you look in the manual, it's supposed to look just like that. So we're still looking at that. But I didn't find anything else that needed attention that I could tell. I mean, there still may be stuff that's broken. Of course, we need to mess with the flippers. But yeah, it's in pretty decent shape, actually. All right, so let's lay it down and look at the top and see if that got all of our bulbs working. Okay, so I think we've got them all. There's a couple that just have flashers in them that don't have bulbs. Good looking game, for real. I kind of want to mess with the sound next and see what's going on with the sound. It just doesn't sound right. It may be a volume thing. Let's see if I can get it into sound test. What is this? What is this? Let's see. That one's making a little bit of noise. Let's see if the left one is. I think they're on the same wiring. Yeah, it is too. So there's a woofer in the bottom. It could just be they've got it turned way down. Let's find the volume. Come on, baby. Sounds better. Alright, I'm going to crawl under it and see if I can hear anything coming out of that speaker in the very bottom. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff there. So all it needed was the knob turned. So if you don't have any volume, turn up the volume. There is a flap up on the ramp that goes back and forth. Here, let me show you. This big flap. And it goes back and forth. But the problem is, it looks like it doesn't quite go, it gets hung. So I looked this up in the manual, and everything's here. I thought maybe there was supposed to be a spring to push it back out, but so this pulls in. It's probably going to pull down like that. Well, maybe that's it. Whenever it lets go, that spring sends it back. So see how when this pulls all the way in, this spring starts stretching? And then I guess whenever it lets go of it, maybe that is just enough to push it back up. But it's a little sticky, so I oiled the pivots. It didn't really help it. I'm going to take this off and replace the sleeve in it, so it's nice and clean, and we'll see if it works better. Sure, it'll go this way, but I just want to make sure it'll go all the way that way. And it doesn't easily do that. You kind of have to force it to do that, which means that the ramp is going to go good one way, but the other way it's going to be kind of hung in the middle. So I'm going to replace that little nylon sleeve and see if that gets it moving more smoothly. Okay, so after removing the coil and the nylon sleeve, look how easily it moves now. Right? Nothing hangs. It moves really well. So the hang was inside of that coil. So we got to put a new sleeve in it and make sure that everything moves. Okie dokie. Well, the plunger was nice and smooth, and I put a new sleeve in, and it's still, I mean, I guess it's all right, but I don't know that that's going to work right while we're playing it. I know it can do this, but I don't know that it can do that. Like, how would it do that? I understand when it's down, there'll be a little bit of gravity helping it, but not much. So we'll just see. Maybe gravity on the top is moving the flap too. I don't know. We'll try it out a little bit. Now, we also have the flippers missing, obviously. I'll bet you've been thinking that the whole video. I'll bet the whole time you've been thinking, what, there's no flippers. Well, they're down in the bottom. Apparently, the operator was taking things apart for whatever reason. So the flipper assemblies actually are here. It's just they've been removed for some reason. And it appears that the reason they removed them was to replace the bushings. They never put new bushings on it. So maybe they just stole them for another machine. It's like a $1 part. But I don't know. They may have been parting this thing. This poor baby. Alright, so I think we've got all of the solenoids right. And we've got all of the switches right, I believe. We've still got to... The drop target we got right. We've still got to watch that switch, the swinging switch on the left ramp to make sure it behaves properly. And we've got to watch this diverter to make sure it behaves properly. But I think everything else that we've messed with is working as it should. So we got the display ordered. We got the relay swapped in the back box for the A and C thing. We replaced all the flash bulbs, got all of them working. Made sure all of the solenoids are working with the exception of the flippers. And now we're up to the accoutrements. So it's getting there. Right, yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. What's up with that, huh? Okay, so I Googled pictures of other people's diverter assemblies, and they all have springs. So, for whatever reason, they didn't draw it in the manual, but it needs a spring. Here's from a Whirlwind, and then here is from a F14, which is a similar setup. F14 also uses the spring because you need something to return it back where it was. So we're going to put a spring on it, and that should fix this up. So now when it pulls in, when you let go of it, it goes back because of the spring. So I think that's good. So I'm going to go into the test and get it to pull in the test mode, and then see if it releases, see if it can pull in properly to overcome the spring, and then if it releases it properly. Working perfectly. It couldn't possibly work any better than that. Okay, so we got the sound, we got the lights, we got the solenoids, we got the switches, and it's time for the flippers. So I guess we can't postpone it anymore. Let me pull out the flippers that were in the bottom of the machine and then see what parts we've got and what we need to order for it. So strangely, these two flipper units were down in the bottom of the machine. And had clearly been removed. The screws are down on the bottom of the machine as well. And the only thing that's missing is the flipper bats and the bushings that hold that go through the playfield that the flipper bats slip inside. So I don't know if the guy was parting it out or what was going on, but it just seems strange that you would go through all the trouble to take these off the machine. However, it makes it easier for us to work on them because they're not in the game anymore. Typically, you don't need to replace the coils. They're either good or they're bad. So if they're still working, everything's cool. But you need to replace the sleeve that's inside of them. Sometimes the link here, if it's worn. Sometimes the cap will go bad, and sometimes the end of stroke switch will be bad. So we'll look through and see what kind of shape this stuff's in. Now this looks like this is damaged. It's not. It's just the wrapper came off. So we can put the wrapper back on, and that'll be cool too. This is one of those things that a lot of times people spend a lot of money rebuilding whenever there's nothing wrong with the stuff that they've got. But we'll see if how everything looks on this. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the coil off so that we can replace the sleeve inside of it. Alright, so I cleaned it up a little bit. And the old sleeve looked pretty good. We're going to put a new one in because they're like super cheap. Give it this nice action, hopefully, with the plunger. And also, there's very little wear on this plunger, if any at all. If you buy a new one, it's not going to do anything. So basically, you're going to have wear here, or the end of it's going to be worn, right? So if you look, it will not move. It's like it's in as new condition. So it's one of those things where you can replace this, but it's not going to change anything. You know, it's not going to make it any better. Similarly, the coil stop is in perfect shape. Like there's nothing wrong with it. So you can put a brand new one on it, but it's going to be exactly the same. So I can't rebuild it if, you know, everything's still in new shape. So I don't know why they took it off. I guess to steal the bushings. It's the only thing I can think. Or the flipper bats. Alright, so we're going to put this back together with the new sleeve. And then see if I can find some bushings. I might have to order those. Alright, that one was in similar condition. And taped the wrapper back on. The plunger sleeve. It's really not even that bad. But it's obviously worn and old. So you get a problem where you get grooves in the nylon depending on if there's wear on the plunger or not, and then it causes problems where it's not as smooth as it needs to be. But I do not have the bushings. I've got tons of bushings. I do not have the correct ones. There's several different types. So the ones for Williams from about 80 to 98 or something like that, and the ones from Bally from 90 to 98 or something like that are all the same. So all of the modern stuff that you've seen all have the same flipper bushings on it. So I got to order some of those. I've got a little list of some things that we have to order, but there's not much really. But I'll get that in. We can go ahead and mount these though, because the flipper bushing just mounts right there. You know, oh look, they broke off a screw in it. Maybe we shouldn't mount that till we get them to make sure that we get that on there right. Let's see what's on this one. This one's just fine. Now another thing too, if you ever get a problem with these where like one of these is screwed up, a hole is messed up or something, notice how there's two sets? That's because you can reverse them. So if you get a bunch of wear on one, you can turn it around and use it for the other one. They're basically backwards from each other. If you put them like... How does that work? Oh, you know what? It won't work on this because of the way that is. Never mind what I just said. On some of them you can. On this one you can't. But there's not any wear on the actual bracket that I can see anyway. Yeah, this one is a mirror of that one. If you look, the switch is here, and on that one the switch is there. And on this one the bushing is there, and on this one the bushing's up there. So it's just slightly different. So I guess we got to wait for those bushings, and I got to look in the bottom to see if we've got the screws that hold them in, or if I need to order those as well. All right, folks, it's viewer mail time. Came into the shop today. This beautiful box was waiting for me. What do you think it could be? I have no clue. It's so big, I'm thinking it might be a book. It might be like How to Win Friends and Influence People. Now, here's our address, in case you want to send us mail. Now, you don't have to send us anything of any value. We're not soliciting money or anything from people. But people like to send us letters and stuff. Amateur Repair Time, care of Joe's Classic Video Games, 139 Caldwell Street, Rock Hill, 29730. Now, that is our address here at the shop. But this says Amateur Repair Time. So they've got something designed for amateur repair time. Now, look what this says. It says, keep your gift a surprise. Unwrap your present before opening this envelope. Okay, we'll do that. So I have a present here. Look, it's in a big... They did this right. Look at this. They put it in a big gift bag. Well, that's pretty awesome. Let me pull that loose. I'm trying to do all this with one hand, you know. I might have to reuse this bag. I could re-gift this if I don't like... I mean, I wouldn't do that. I would never do that. Let's see if I can get it open. Alright, I'm just going to loosen the top. Okay, so I was able to pull it open. I have no idea what it is. There's a box in there. It's something in a box. It's a box inside of a bag. Oh, wow. This is just what I wanted. Look. Look how cool. You could fit all kinds of stuff in that box. Not only did they send me this box, they sent me another box. Well, thank you, folks. I really appreciate that. Oh, there might be something in it. Oh, let me try to open it. And the top open. I think there may be another box inside of this box, making it a three-for-all. Oh, wow. Wow. LED 3D wood puzzle ornament clock. Not only 3D puzzle building model, but also a home decor LED clock. Build it up and enjoy the ticking and the lights. Home decor 3D puzzle. Look how cool it looks. Wow. I wonder if it's this one or if it's that one. Or maybe it's a transformer. More than meets the eye. It says Duo. Foopla Duo. Let me open it. This is pretty cool. It's well made. Let's see what it says here. Dear customer, thank you for ordering Fun Pola LED 3D puzzles. Hope this model can bring you some fun and lovely home decor showpiece. 3D puzzles are beautiful but fragile. Please give more focusing and patience when assembling. When this puzzle was finished and lightened up, you will love it. Your shopping satisfaction always comes first in Fun Pola store. If you have any problems in the product, please feel free to contact us. We're 100% responsible for your purchase. Thank you and wish you all the best. Sincerely. Well, that's nice of them. Wood puzzle clock tower. Do not remove all parts in advance to avoid confusion. Assembly video, scan the QR code. Light up test. When the light belt installed, please do the light up test. Power plug is not included. You could use a mobile phone charger to connect the USB cord in the product. The tightness of the puzzle connectors are determined by processing technology and temperature of environment. If the puzzle pieces are too tight to install, you could use the included polishing file to polish. If too loose, the included glue could be applied. Patience and sensitive hands are needed. Well, luckily, I'm perfect for this. I'm pretty calm once I have a couple soft drinks. Please give this assembly more common patience to avoid breaking. So no swearing. So it comes with an LED belt, 4 screws, a screwdriver, soft glue, metal file, and the clock itself, which connecting to the wooden parts. I gotta say, the whole thing looks pretty cool. I didn't even know they made these. And this is the one that's the tower, which would have been the one I would have picked if I was going to pick one. Wow. Wow. Well, I'm going to have to do a video building this thing. And it comes with a USB cord to plug it in. That's the USB cord is probably for the light, and the clock probably runs off of the battery. So there's 3 full sheets. It looks like it's scored in such a way that it'll just snap out each little piece. There's the screwdriver, the file, and the glue, the LED strip with the USB, and this will be the little clock movement. And this is a little plexiglass dial cover. Let's look at the clock movement. Here's the little movement. It's pretty extensively geared. That's pretty cool, I guess. It runs off a battery. Very cool. Alright, well, I'm going to have to do a video on our Amateur Repair Time channel putting this thing together, so look for that soon. Oh, let me read the little note. Alright, so in the envelope it says, "A gift for you, something you may enjoy, from Sean." Well, thank you, Sean. I like it. I'll like I said, I'll do a separate video on it, putting it together. So if the people that are watching this channel, if you don't know, we have another channel, Amateur Repair Time. You can find the link to it below all of our videos. And also, if you go to our channel's homepage, there's a link to all of our other channels. We've actually got 4 channels total, but one of them is Amateur Repair Time, where I work on old things. Like I work on old radios, old clocks, and I don't really know what I'm doing on that stuff. So it's just kind of fun to tinker with it and figure out what's so cool about the some of the vintage stuff that I find that has a that just catches my eye, right? My friend Matt brought me this little Transformers radio that isn't working right, so I'm gonna try to work on it one of these days too. So just stuff like that. We tinker with old stuff. So if you like that kind of stuff, make sure to check out that channel. But Sean, I appreciate the gift. You didn't have to do that, but thank you. We appreciate it. And I'll see you over on that channel. But we got to get back to the video we're doing now. So I looked around. I did not have the screws, and I did not have the bushings. So Marco's Specialties to the rescue. Williams flipper bushings. And I just guessed. I think these are the right screws. We're about to find out. Here, maybe I should do that live so you can see if I guessed correctly. Ooh, I don't know. They look like they might be a little bit too big. I don't know. Well, would you look at that? Ah. Would you look at that? So if anybody ever wants to know, this will crack the mystery for you. They're 632, and I got 3/8 of an inch long. Seemed good to me. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and mount those in, and then we're about ready to mount them in the machine. Alright, so they mounted back in place. The little screws were in the bottom. There was a couple of them missing, but I've got all kinds of extra stuff like that, so I was able to put them all in. This one seems to be missing from the factory, so I didn't put it in. Maybe there's a good reason they don't add that one, but all the other ones we put in. Got it wired back up the way it goes. So now we need to mount the actual flipper bats in it. While I was at it too, one of these sets of stand-up switches over here, the rivets were broke on. I was able to pop the rivets out and just put screws and nuts to hold the switch in place to the little bracket. That's how they did them in later years, I believe, or in earlier years, one of the two. Those rivets break from time to time. So we got that fixed too while we ran it. All right, so we got them mounted in. Nice, cool, brand new yellow flipper bats. Let's give it a credit. I haven't tried it yet.
Looks like rain.
Let's see if we blow a fuse. Probably need to clean the flipper switch. It's kind of weak feeling. That one feels normal. Maybe it's just stuck. Let me try flipping it a little bit. All right, let's see if it'll flip.
Looks like rain.
They're flipping good. It's flipping nice and strong. I gotta figure out, oh, the top right one's not though. That one's dead. Gotta figure that out. And I don't know if that, I don't know if that skill shot should make it up that ramp. It kind of looks like it should. But I don't know. Okay, let's see why that upper flipper isn't working. Something weird going on. Okay, so the right flipper gets its power from a blue and yellow wire. And then this flipper also has the blue and yellow wire. See how there's two wires there? That's because they're feeding this one first, and then another wire is going up to here. So if this one's working, this one should be working. Okay, and then the other side is fed by a black and yellow wire. Well, if you look down here, they're doing the old, we got two switches trick. So one switch, this one, is making the bottom flipper work, and this switch is making the top flipper work. So it could just be that flipper switch is no good. Let's see. The orange wire is the power feed to both of them, or the ground feed, however they do it. Okay, so let me just try cleaning the switch first. All right, so I cleaned it. Let's see what happens. That's better. It looks better. Let me hit it. Get it over there by that bat. Lost it. Oh yeah. There we go. The flippers are nice and strong. Drop targets are all working good. Little air ball action. Nice spinner shot. All right. Yeah, so that flipper's working great now. All right, folks, so that's it for now. We will continue working on it on the next video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to give us a thumbs up for taking the trouble to film it for you. We still got to work on the display. We still got to change the topper on the plastic on the topper. We need to do touch up on the cabinet. We've still got a lot of little things that need little things adjusted. Need to test play it some more. But it's coming together very nicely, I think. So we will see you on the next video. Now, if you like these I call them newer pinball machines, but it's from the 90s. But if you like these semi-newer games, we do get some of these in from time to time, just not that many, but we've done a few videos of it. So if you want to see a similar vintage one, check this video out, and we'll see you on the next one.